What is the difference between a lender and an underwriter, and what is their role in the process? Hi, I'm Joe Poliak, San Francisco Bay Area real estate agent with Rise Homes. Thank you for joining me, and let's jump right in. You may be already searching for a home. You may already be working with your real estate agent. You may already be an escrow. Your real estate agent gives you a couple of names of lenders to get pre-approved. And now you're hearing all these other terms: underwriter, underwriter's assistant, loan officer, mortgage broker. What do all these things mean? And what are these people's role in the process? So generally speaking, whenever your realtor recommends or you start talking to a lender, a mortgage broker, a loan officer, any of those things, essentially those terms are almost interchangeable in the sense that that is the salesperson who begins the process of having you fill out your application to get started on a loan. They do the initial review of your documentation, and they're the ones who are helping to get started with a pre-approval process. Generally speaking, this person is mostly on a commission income, unless they're with a credit union or maybe some banks, they have a mix of salary as well. But a big part of their income comes from commission, similar to real estate agents. So they are a salesperson, and their job is to get you pre-approved and ultimately get you into a house. Let's say an offer is accepted, your offer is accepted, you are getting the process started, the realtor has sent the ratified contract to the lender, to their team, and now you start hearing about this underwriter. What's an underwriter? An underwriter is the person in the back end who essentially is going through the checklist of your file, taking a look at all of your documentation, your W-2s, your 1099, your tax documents, your pay stubs, your debts income ratio, all of these things, going through your bank accounts, etc., to make sure you really qualify for this loan. This is the person in the back end who is doing this whole process, who's just really, they're kind of the devil's advocate for the bank to make sure that you really are qualified, and they're the ones who are going to be approving you. The lender oftentimes is on your team because they only get paid if you get a loan. So they're doing their best to make this go through. The underwriter is more on the bank's team to make sure they're not making a bad loan. So they're really going to go down and get into the weeds and go into all of the details and really scrutinize all of your documentation to make sure that you really qualify and there's not going to be any issues down the line. If you like this video so far, please let me know by hitting the subscribe button. I appreciate it. Sometimes many realtors and or lenders, and I'm included in this, sometimes will recommend for you to get an underwritten approval. So that means that you go beyond just a pre-qualification letter or a pre-approval letter to get a full underwritten approval, where you actually submit all of your documentation to an underwriter. They go through all of these checklists in detail before you have an offer accepted. And that way you can cut down the close of escrow timeline from an average of, around 30 days to maybe an average of 15 to 20 days. Have you ever had an issue with a lender or an underwriter during the home buying process? If so, please mention it in the comments below and I'll be happy to address it in a future video. I know when I was buying a house and I was having to go through this whole process with the lender, with the underwriter, so many back and forth, having to write letters of explanation of why I submitted a $550 Venmo payment to my friend and all sorts of things like this. I know that I thought that process was pretty hectic and annoying, but at the end of the day, I understood that, hey, we had this big financial crisis because people were getting loans that they could not actually afford. And so obviously we're looking to prevent that as a society. I understand that that's why all this additional attention to detail and additional legwork on the side of the underwriters. So I understand where they're coming from, but it is really annoying, and I understand my clients go through this, so I always tell them just be prepared for it, and it's all part of the process. That's all for today. Thank you for sticking around, and I hope you learned something new today. If you did, please follow or subscribe wherever you're watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.